96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Good morning. 600 return to work as the SLS in Rosewood reopened. Bahamar completing its phased reopening nearly a year after the resort closed. NIB and Immigration working on a new ID card. And the Court of Appeal hearing arguments on citizenship ruling. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend. Wake up today. Wake up. It's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Good morning, Bahamas. It is Friday, March 5th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Stephen Hanna will be joining us. Also this morning, we're talking about what you can do to increase your energy efficiency in your home. And in Morning Blend Business, we are talking with BPL, getting an update on the many things they are working on this morning. A lot to talk to them about. That's coming up. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. Overnight, 600 people returning to work at Bahamar, reopening the SLS and Rosewood hotels nearly a year after they closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In all, 260 Rosewood employees and 340 SLS employees are back at work. Vice President of SLS, Alex Gasser, calling it a very emotional moment. As COVID spread rapidly across the globe last March, tourism came to a standstill. Days after the Bahamas confirmed its first COVID case, Bahamar closed its doors, sending thousands of employees home. Over the course of the months that followed, those furloughed employees depended on government assistance programs and payments for the resort. 5 Court of Appeal judges are tasked with deciding which of 2 Supreme Court decisions on the issue of citizenship is correct. Government lawyers are today trying to convince those justices to overturn a landmark decision on citizenship and to uphold a previous decision on the issue by former Chief Justice Burton Hall. Sir Michael Barnett saying that the case involves the interpretation of Article 6 on the Constitution of the Bahamas, with 2 decisions of the Supreme Court which appear to be inconsistent with each other. In the circumstances, they apparently have to exercise a provision on Article 7 of the Court of Appeal Act, which provides where a matter involves a constitutional matter or a matter of general public importance, the court may sit in a panel of 5. Last May, Justice Ian Winder ruled that children born out of wedlock, together men and foreign women, are entitled to citizenship from birth. Winder departed from Hall's decision, which said that children born out of wedlock could only inherit citizenship through their mother. Minister of Public Service and National Insurance Brent Roll says that the National Insurance Board and the Department of Immigration are collaborating to introduce a new NIB card that will be issued at birth and indicate the holder's nationality. But St. Anne's MP Brent Simonette, who served as Immigration Minister before resigning in 2019, asked if NIB will usurp the Department of Immigration on the matter. Roll saying that NIB had absolutely no intention of doing so. Overseas, Pope Francis arriving in Iraq today to urge the country's dwindling number of Christians to stay put and help rebuild the country after years of war and persecution, brushing aside the coronavirus pandemic and security concerns to make his first ever papal visit.
The Pope, who wore a face mask during the flight, kept it on as he descended the stairs to the tarmac and was greeted by two masked children in traditional dress. But health measures appeared lax inside the airport despite the country's worsening coronavirus outbreak. The Iraqi foreign minister saying Iraqis were eager to welcome Francis's message of peace and tolerance, and he described the visit as an historic meeting between the two sides. Among the highlights of the three-day visit is Francis's private meeting Saturday with the country's top Shiite cleric. Francis' plane touched down at Baghdad's airport just before 2 p.m. local time, and the red carpet was rolled out for him. A largely unmasked choir sang songs of both Pope and Premier, as both Pope and the Premier made their way to a welcome area at the airport. In sports, 7 Bahamian collegiate athletes have qualified for the upcoming NCAA Division I and Division II Indoor Track and Field Championships, each slated for March 11th through 13th. Qualifying the Division I, Purdue University Boilermaker senior Tamara Green in the men's triple jump, University of Kentucky Wildcat sophomore Megan Moss in the women's 400 meters and 4x4 relay, Washington State University Cougars junior Charisma Taylor in the women's triple jump, and University of Florida Gators junior Denisha Anderson in the women's 4x400 and the distance medley relays. Over in the Division II, and qualifiers are Minnesota State University at Mankato Maverick sophomore Denisha Cartwright in the women's 60 meters, 60-meter hurdles, 200 meters, 4x400-meter relay. West Texas A&M Buffalo sophomore Jamal Wilson in the men's 60-meter hurdles, and Minnesota State University at Moorhead Dragons junior Chiron Kemp in the men's triple jump. Read more in today's Guardian Sports section. Overseas from the NFL, Ben Roethlisberger is returning for an 18th season with the Pittsburgh Steelers and is taking a pay cut to do it. The team and the two-time Super Bowl winner announced Thursday they've agreed to a new contract that assures the 39-year-old will be back in 2021. Financial details not immediately available, though the Steelers made no secret of the need for Roethlisberger to take a pay cut to ease some of the burden of his NFL-high $41.25 million salary cap hit scheduled for 2021. The NFL Network citing anonymous sources saying that Roethlisberger's new deal will essentially pay him $14 million this season and adds 4 voidable years to spread out the dead money. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, a cold front across the southeast Bahamas now, along with a trailing trough near the northwest Bahamas, will spark some showers over portions of the islands through tonight. There's a slight risk of waterspout activity near the frontal boundary. Beachgoers in the northwest Bahamas should exercise caution along north and east coast beaches, as there is a risk of rip currents. For today, for the northwest Bahamas, your forecast calls for partly sunny, warm and breezy conditions with a few passing showers, becoming partly cloudy and cool with a stray shower or two tonight. The small craft caution remains in effect. Winds north to northeast at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. For the central and southeast Bahamas, look for variably cloudy and warm conditions with widely scattered showers and a slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm or two, mainly near the frontal boundary through tonight. Winds west to northwest at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times. Seas 2 to 4 feet. It's 70 degrees right now under mostly cloudy skies in Nassau. We're looking at highs getting up to around 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, It's a new
It's time for break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news, smart talk all day.
of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
COVID-19. Do not panic. Be prepared. Stay informed about local COVID-19 updates from trusted and reliable sources. Wash your hands regularly and be sure to have hand sanitizers readily available. Keep your surroundings clean and disinfect all surfaces that carry germs. Talk to your family and friends about protecting themselves and staying healthy. For more information on COVID-19, check the Ministry of Health's website at www.bahamas.gov.bs/health and the Bahamas Ministry of Health Facebook page.
This message brought to you by Bahamas Ministry of Health in conjunction with Guardian Radio.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Email us morningblend@nasguard.com, or you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. And this morning we're going to be talking about energy efficiency, what you need to know to ensure that you have the lowest electricity bills around and living your most efficient life. We're going to be talking about that. And then in Morning Blend Business coming up at 9 o'clock, we will talk with BPL about the number of things going on there. So many things to talk to them about. That's coming up in business. But once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Stephen Hanna. Stephen Hanna, good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Morning, what's up?
Well, we are right here on this Friday, and I'll have a lot to get to. Let's begin with what's in the news. And in the news, just some quick headlines before we get into what we want to talk about this morning. But the big headline in the paper is 600 return to work as the SLS and the Rosewood reopen. And Bahamar completing now its phased reopening after being closed for nearly a year. So that's some good news there. And everybody's optimistic about the changes coming, the turnaround, more people getting vaccinated in our source markets for tourism, and people thinking about getting away after a year of being locked up and locked down and curfewed up, and people are ready to travel, and just in time for spring break season. So we hope this is the beginning of the turnaround for everybody. But good news there. This this from, I don't know what to call this, but anyway. Chairman of the House Rules Committee, Renford Wells, says that there is no such provision made for the introduction of a question time for the Prime Minister in the House of Assembly. He's defending the government's record on answering questions in the House, claiming that cabinet ministers answer questions during every debate.
What?
Yeah. You know, I mean, I just don't. Anyway. All right, let's see what he says. I don't want to spend too much time on this because, you know, there are important things to talk about here. But on Wednesday, of course, you may recall House Speaker Halsam Mutri said that he was minded to introduce a Prime Minister's question time where the Prime Minister would be obligated to answer questions put to him by any member of Parliament. He said this is the way to ensure that democracy unfolds and that it matures. But Wells, who also serves as the leader of government business, saying that the Constitution is very clear that members of Parliament set the rules and not the Speaker, essentially. He said, quote, "There is a Rules Committee, of which I am chair, and my simple comment is the rules of the House are set by the members. There's no such provision made. First of all, the Constitution, I think it's Article 52, speaks about the establishment of the Parliament. It says the Parliament should make no laws other than for the peace, order, and good governance of the Bahamas. Then the Constitution gives the Parliament the right to set whatever rules it wants for this place, the Parliament meaning its members. And so there is a rule in the Rules of Parliament that speaks to the second Wednesday of the month. There's a 30-minute question time or something like that, which it's been in the rules, but it's never been acted upon by any previous administration."
So his point is that it exists already?
I guess, although it's not clear whether that. I remember there's been question time. It's not consistent, but it's happened. But it should be more consistent, right? Wells says that members have done in the past is that questions are put to the leadership, to the executive, cabinet ministers. During courses of debate, stuff is brought up, and you would have seen that happens where questions are put to ministers on various things that are taking place in their ministries in the social sphere. Whatever is going on in our communities, and ministers then get up if they have the requisite answers, and if they don't, they then tell the members, look, I'll get back to you on that matter. So whereas the Wednesday has not been officially recognized and followed, ministers answer questions every debate. You would have seen the Prime Minister answer questions during this debate. You would have seen that I would have gotten up, would have gotten up and objected to some things, answered questions in this debate. So I don't want the perception to go out there that somehow this administration is not answering questions. We answer the questions that are put forward on the floor of the House. All right, let's stop reading this.
Okay, come on.
Why even, if it's already there, what's the issue?
No, but he's being disingenuous. Because he knows that every time, first of all, he's saying that if it is your turn to talk, you can ask a question. That's not the same thing as Prime Minister time or like questions for the Prime Minister, right? So it's like me, when I'm standing up and saying the people of Garden Hills or Golden Gates are concerned about water pressure, and then the person in charge of water and sewage standing up to talk or respond to that on a point of order, it's not the same thing as question time.
Right.
Right? And that's not question time for the Prime Minister. I don't get to stand up and say, here are my list of questions to the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister doesn't have the answer. And how many times, if the Prime Minister says something and somebody stands up, the Speaker might tell them, you're out of order, sit down. All right? And so it's like you're being disingenuous to make it seem like it's so easy to ask questions. It's not that y'all don't answer questions. It's that y'all choose which questions y'all wish to answer.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you choose which questions are allowed to be asked. Asked. You know what I mean. Whole point is, this would not hurt democracy. The same thing that he said, where it's like they're only allowed to make rules that further good governance. This is a part of that.
Absolutely. All right. I said I was going to read any more from him, but this is interesting here. Look at this. He said that he noted that the United Kingdom has a Prime Minister's question time. They also, this is me now, also have a fixed election day. But anyway, obviously, as we move forward with the whole evolution of our parliamentary democracy, that is something that we will take into consideration. but our founding fathers and former members thought that the best way for us to operate is really just to have a question time the second Wednesday in the month. So he's admitting that is a thing, but so do that. Do it. You haven't even done it, though. So
I don't think that 30 minutes is long enough, inside my opinion, for an actual question. I mean, I guess it could, if it says a minimum of 30 minutes, then that's one thing. It shouldn't be 30 minutes and that's the cap,
Right.
because I could easily see somebody talking for 30 minutes.
What are they
answer the
thinking?
first
This will take away from the time they need to pass the
No.
legislation that they promised us? Is that why they don't want to do it? I don't understand.
No, the reason they don't want to do it is because they don't want to be bombarded with questions. Could you imagine? Think about it now. There are 4 members of opposition inside Parliament.
More than 4 now.
Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting.
People keep
All right,
crossing.
so there are several members of opposition in Parliament. Right,
5
right?
official and several others.
And a couple in waiting. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But even when there were just 4, the speaker was always telling people to sit down and be quiet. So if 4 people are asking a couple of questions on the side could cause this much havoc, imagine now if it was actually entrenched in it to say, I'm allowed to ask this question and demand on behalf of the Bahamian people that you answer it.
Yeah. Yeah, more excuses. And I mean, you know it's a good thing. You know you're going to appreciate that should you become the opposition. You know you're going to want this and cry out for it as well. I don't understand what the fight is, but this is what we love to do. We just love to argue and fight. And no reason. They were crying for the same thing when they were in opposition. And here we go.
There's a
again.
reason why Wells is saying it and not the Prime Minister. So that gives you deniability. So if they do become the opposition, Minnis could ask for it and never say can say, I never spoke against it. I that was not me. Look on the record. And the record will reflect that only Wells spoke against it.
I'm not sure he's exactly speaking against it, but he's not. He's
not
saying a
for
lot
it.
of right. I don't know what he's for, but
He's
yeah.
frustrating the process.
Yes, definitely. But they'll say he's the chairman of the House Rules Committee, so that's why he should talk. But oh well.
Except we're talking about questions for the Prime Minister.
Well,
I feel
it
that
seems
the
like it's
very-
questions for everyone in the cabinet.
No, but see, that's the next thing. It's like questions for everybody could easily be clogged up by a person, by a party that has a bunch of people in it. And they say, okay, so this is what to do. Everybody get up and just start asking softball questions to Works Minister. Or keep on asking softball questions to the person in charge of education or the person in charge of culture. And then just burn through that. That 30 minutes is nothing to burn through. We on the radio for 3 hours, Dwight.
Yeah.
30 minutes here, nothing to burn through. A person could eat. You've watched the House of Assembly. When they're reading off the piece of paper before they start rowing, that's easily 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think we've already spent 30 minutes on this. Wow. All right, let's move on to something that will impact more people. NIB and working on a new immigration card. Working with immigration on a card that will have some immigration information, if that makes sense. It was confusing to members in the House yesterday as well. For more on this and what's happening with NIB, take a listen to this report from our Jasmine Brown.
The bulk of the $242 million spent by the National Insurance Board during the pandemic went to social assistance programs. That's according to Public Service and National Insurance Minister Brenzel Roll, who says those programs were in huge demand last year.
This assistance, Mr. Speaker, that kept the Bahamian economy afloat. $104 million injected directly into the system. This assistance saves us all, Mr. Speaker, whether we want to admit it or not.
Roll spending a good portion of his 2-hour-long mid-year budget communication on NIB. He said during the COVID-19 pandemic, thousands of Bahamians found themselves out of work and in need of social assistance. The NIB minister says NIB has had to step up its efforts to help Bahamians who have fallen on hard times.
For the period August 25th, 2019 to February 2021, NIB has dispersed to the Bahamian people $242.6 million. $242.6 million injected into this economy. $250 million, yes. $250 million.
He gave a breakdown of how the money was paid out.
But more than $104 million in unemployment benefit was paid out by NIB for Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19. The government of the Bahamas funded unemployment assistance program for self-employed persons, $15.6 million.
With thousands of people still out of work and dependent on NIB assistance, the NIB minister acknowledges concerns about when the program will come to an end. He says the government will keep up the assistance for as long as it can. Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, so that's the NIB minister there, National Insurance Minister, speaking about what they've done over the past few months as a result of the pandemic. So he also brought up this card information, right? So they plan on introducing a new NIB card that will be issued at birth and indicate the holder's nationality. Rolls saying during this debate yesterday, the mid-year budget debate, quote, "Our last challenge at NIB is to ensure that we, the government of the Bahamas, and NIB introduce a new card. This is critical. As you know, what exists is that we..." Let me find the jump here. Okay, we give a card to individuals who are employed. We give a photograph card. What we would like to do, and what we have permission to do from the Cabinet of the Bahamas, is to issue a card from birth so that we can trace you and follow you from the time you were born in the Bahamas using one identification number and one card. We know that if you want to get into school, you need a card. If you want to cash your check, you need an NIB card. So what we propose to do is to have a card. Anyone who was born in the Bahamas, you get a card with a unique identifier on your card, a unique number. And what the card will say is that you were born in the Bahamas, so we can determine that you are a Bahamian. Your status will be Bahamian. If at the time of your birth we cannot determine whether you are a Bahamian or not, we will just indicate the status is unknown. Now, at this point, St. Anne's MP Brent Simonet, who served as immigration minister before resigning in 2019, asked if NIB will usurp the Department of Immigration. Rolls saying that no, they have no intention of doing this. As Simonet reminded him that only NIB has immigration. Immigration determines this, right? Rolls saying collaboration is ongoing with the Department of Immigration, and they will not do and cannot do anything that usurps the power and authority of immigration. He said that NIB will never be able to determine who is a Bahamian and who is not. He said, quote, "When I say if we can determine, I mean that if the parents produce a passport at birth, what? That say they are Bahamian. Okay, all right. We know. One more thing. He says we know the role that immigration will play. We know the role that other agencies will play. We will not get in the business of determining who is a citizen of the Bahamas, but we know if your daddy is a Bahamian and your mother is a Bahamian, you're still not a Bahamian up to a certain level."
You what?
I don't know what that is. What now? If they both are Bahamian, then what's the issue? I mean, maybe he means to say either just because one of them is, you won't necessarily be according to our wonderful Constitution. Okay.
But even okay, this is my issue, right? This is dumb because, like, one, I don't have an issue with this card at all. All right, why not? All right, because at this rate, I was issued my NIB number in grade 6, and it's like, why not just do it at birth one time, like a Social Security number, anyway? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I don't understand this argument from somebody who is not the Minister of Immigration saying that is NIB going to determine it? No, NIB is not determining anything. NIB is only going to write down whatever is told to them. that's like saying, well, the statistics coming from the hospital isn't true because we don't know if any of those people are Bahamian or if any of those people are foreign nationals being born because they don't work for immigration. They just work for the hospital. What are you talking about? Like the job of NIB is to just figure out who, like, we're receiving benefits from these people. They're essentially gathering a tax. All they're trying to do is assign a number to individuals so that when those people either need money or give money, the number is aligned with that fund. That's all they're trying to do. All right? And so it's like, if this is such a big deal, I have a better idea for the MP for St. Anne's to suggest we need a referendum. And we don't need a referendum to say, should we change it? We need a referendum that is either or. Let's just kill this thing once and for all. All right? Either you're born here and that's it, or no.
You mean again, another one? That's what you're saying?
Well, see, the thing is that was tied up with a bunch of other things.
Only if you wanted it to be.
No,
it really wasn't.
No, because don't forget that was tied. Yes,
I mean, people made it tied up. It didn't have to be.
No, listen, Dwight. That was gender, right? And as a result of it being tied with gender, that also would have affected when a child of divorce. Because right now, if a person is married, they get a divorce. The court automatically assumes that the mother is the better parent. That law. I mean, that rule, if we had voted in the opposite direction, that means men would be considered as good a parent as women because it was about gender, all forms of gender discrimination in law, right? It wasn't just about birth and immigration or whatever. What we need is something specifically dealing with this so that all of the educational campaign can be just on this. Let's deal with this because too long, it's a political football. It one day is this, one day is that. Let's deal with it. And then the provision, you still put the provision in it that there is a way to citizenship, even if it isn't automatic.
Well, we're going to talk about that in just a couple minutes as
I understand
the courts
that,
are hearing that right now.
Even the Supreme Court is the one, as we will get to, they have two different rulings that contradict each other. So it's like we need to, as the people, just decide once and for all what we want the automatic thing to be. If there is any automatic thing, if there's not, there's not. If there is. And we just have to live with that. And then we could start to build and work on that. But right now, what we have is a bunch of confusion where nothing can progress in that area because NIB don't have nothing to do with that. And so why is NIB being encumbered by the indecisiveness or the inadequacies of the immigration department?
Yeah. Well, I suspect you're going to have challenges no matter what.
Right.
With that. And it's unfortunate.
Let's actually have the education campaign. Mm-hmm. Let's have the question asked. Let's give people a chance to respond and then move on from there. Because right now what we have is we have a political football and we up in the air.
All right, let's take this call really quickly and then we'll get into what the court is hoping to decide. Let's take this call, and you can call in as well. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? No, they were there for a while. Okay, let's go to the text messages and then we'll move on. All right, so okay, this person says, I'm rolling on the floor. Maybe he shouldn't have used the phrase, we want to track you and trace you. That is an absolute no-no for data privacy. He needs to join the training they're giving to the information management people. That did sound weird. But as Stephen mentioned, in many other places like the U.S., you do get your Social Security number for life. I'm trying to remember. When we went from those yellow cards, was it the same number that we got on the smart card? Is it the same? And it should be, right? Yeah, it is the same number. Okay. All right. But yeah, why not start it from birth? Yeah, that seems reasonable.
When I was in grade 6, I was 9? And I got to work no job. So clearly, their intention was to get it to you as early as possible.
How did you? What? They came to the school. What did they do?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
They came to C.W. Sawyer, and they had us line up, and they said, "What's your name?" Okay, this your NIB. I lost.
Wait, you
that
didn't
card.
have to present any documentation or anything?
No.
Oh, but I guess the
least
school
I
already
wasn't-
had it. Maybe. Yeah.
Right, the school probably already
yeah.
had it.
Okay.
And once again, I was 9. So for all I know, it could have been a situation where they only pulled the people who they had all the documentation.
Right. Yeah.
Right? But at the end of the day, I got it while I was still at C.W. Sawyer.
Were you proud? Were you happy when you got that? Did you know?
For what?
Did you know what it was?
I didn't know what it was. I was like, it's a thing, and I lost it because I couldn't find it when I did need it.
When
which
they
would have
just
been
they
like,
gave
I don't
all
know,
the children the cards. Like, here you go, have fun with it, like that.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay.
At least that's once again. I was 9.
Yeah,
that's
so-
how I recall it.
Right.
It wasn't like I was asking people where yours is. Let me see yours. Oh, how much numbers you have? No, it was just like, here's this thing, and they didn't explain what it was. It's like, this your number. And I
Okay.
was like, okay.
That's not dangerous. Yeah. Okay. Here's another text. Who needs an answer when half the house is in the cabinet and should already know the answer? Okay. They only set aside 30 minutes for question time because they prefer sitting in the house laughing and banging on desks rather than being accountable to the Bahamian people. Now we see who run the country from the sidelines. Brent Simmons, I don't understand what you're saying. Okay.
Because he's not in cabinet. Why is he making cabinet? Has already decided this.
He's asking questions, like Reverend Bell says. Anybody can ask them questions when they talk.
Oh, so this counts against the 30 minutes?
Yeah, see, it's better than that. Better, anytime. Get up and ask what you want. There you go. This one here. I hope the government isn't trying to use NIB payments as some feather in their cap or some big accomplishment. That money is there because of the people. It's collected from the people for the people. Minister Roll seems as if he's bragging about payments made to the people. Like, well, I don't know if that's fair, but they did a lot. That was a year, an unprecedented year. They've never seen anything like that before in the history of the fund. And so he's just letting you know.
I'd brag too if I was him, because at least in his department, they're doing something.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like, people could be throwing rocks coming up shortly. Nobody could be throwing
right.
rocks.
They worked hard, whether you liked their performance or not. They were certainly doing stuff.
Right.
So,
Right, he could be like, I do stuff and I run it, so please leave me alone.
This person says, NIB numbers are needed for your external exams. Your number is on your certificates. Oh, yeah? I guess they moved the age down. Okay, well, that's interesting. I don't remember any of that. Maybe that was before. I was a little bit old.
When they first started NIB, you would have already been in high school, right?
you know,
74.
Wow, very funny, Stephen. Very funny. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Mr. Strong, good morning. How you doing?
Hi, good morning.
Mr. Strong, how you doing?
I'm well.
Yeah, hey, Mr. Strong, boy, after you announced the mattress, and I did a video of the mattress going, okay, you have to embarrass them, okay?
Isn't that something? I noticed that today, too. The mattress is off Tawny Williams Darling Highway. Thank you to whoever moved that.
No, Mr. Strong, don't tell him there's no excuse, okay?
Oh, well.
4 days
Well, maybe the person who moved it isn't the person who put it there.
No, the bottom line about it, the bottom line, Governor of Road and Parks, the minister riding around, Buck and Coconut Boys, so me ain't no excuse. So, but Mr. Strong, let's be right.
Wow.
Branson made right, you know. Branson Rule said yesterday, the cabinet of the Bahamas can't decide who's a Bahamian. That's immigration. So Branson was correct and correct him.
I don't think he was saying, Brent's role wasn't saying they're going to decide.
Branson Rule said cabinet will decide. He said that. But to make a long story short, it all exposed the corruption they're doing in cabinet. You cannot. That's immigration matter. All national insurance is to verify that you is legally here to work or get payments. Nothing more. So that means we have to keep a close eye on what's going on in national insurance. And then, Mr. Strong, another thing, what happened, right? Ransom, like you said, Randall Wells, don't waste your time answering the man, okay? Because that man, just to say stupidness, okay? First of all, who is he to say the Prime Minister, and he have to answer MPs? Okay? So that proves, they don't be accountable. You see what I'm saying? And then, Mr. Strong, you have to look at this too now. You hear the stupidness, but Marvin Dane's makeup, why he extended putting 3 senior officers to guard Simpson Pen and security in the hospital. You're as stupid as the man say.
I did. Yes, we did.
Talk about that, please.
Okay. I mean, okay. Thank you very much. I mean, you say it's stupidness, but okay. Let's take this call, and then we're gonna move on to that court decision or what the court is talking about. Good morning, caller. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. No. Okay. This text here, Dwight, facts are facts. The previous referenda were tied with other matters. That was and continues to be a bad idea. I hope the government has learned one subject per referendum. Keep laser focus if we want to get the citizenship matter resolved once and for all.
Okay. In fact, the gaming referendum was more successful than the gender referendum. Because the gaming one, it's like this is a clear situation where it's like, okay, more people, nobody wants it to be legal apparently, but more people are in favor of there being a national lottery. Like that more or less was clear. They just didn't listen to it.
All right, so let's start this, and then we're going to take a break and then pick up a little bit after the break. So our T.Z. Davis writing about this today in today's Nassau Guardian. 5 Court of Appeal judges are tasked with deciding which of 2 Supreme Court decisions on the issue of citizenship is correct. Government lawyers yesterday tried to convince justices of appeal, Sir Michael Barnett, John Isaacs, Roy Jones, Stella Crane Scott, and Milton Evans to overturn a landmark decision on citizenship and to uphold a previous decision on the issue by former Chief Justice Sir Burton Hall. Sir Michael saying, quote, this case involves the interpretation of Article 6 of the Constitution of the Bahamas, in which there are 2 decisions of the Supreme Court, which appear to be inconsistent with each other. In the circumstances, we have decided to exercise a provision on Article 7 of the Court of Appeal Act, which provides where a matter involves a constitutional matter or a matter of general public importance, the court may sit in a panel of 5. Right? All right. So last May, Justice Ian Winder ruled that children born out of wedlock to Bahamian men and foreign women are entitled to citizenship from birth. Right?
With you.
Winder departed from Hall's decision, which said that children born out of wedlock could only inherit citizenship through their mother. Hall's interpretation remained the law until Winder's ruling last year, which was immediately appealed in the public's interest. 2 Bahamian men with children born to Haitian and Jamaican women challenged the interpretation of Article 6 of the Constitution after their offspring were denied Bahamian passports. They sought declarations that their children were entitled to citizenship pursuant to Article 6 of the Constitution and a declaration that the wording of Article 14 does not affect the rights conferred under Article 6. Article 6 says, quote, every person born in the Bahamas after July 9th, 1973 shall become a citizen at the date of his birth if at that date either of his parents is a citizen of the Bahamas. Article 14 says, quote, any reference in the chapter to the father of a person shall, in relation to any person born out of wedlock, other than a person legitimated before July 10th, 1973, be construed as a reference to the mother of that person. Lead government lawyer Franklin Williams sought to persuade the court that Winder erred in his interpretation of the articles. He submitted that Hall's finding that the only possible interpretation of the word parents in Article 6 is mother or father is correct. Wayne Monroe, QC, appears for the respondents. The hearing continues today. All right, so we've been debating this for years on this show and on Guardian Radio. We've been talking about this. We've had shows on it over and over and over. And I do believe we are inclined to lean toward Justice Winder's interpretation of this. But, many people have a lot of issues with this, and this has been a big problem. This was supposed to be. We tried to address this with the referendum, the last one. But as Stephen said, it was so many other things involved in that. And
the referendum could only be about that. It can't be about nothing else. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's going to be confusion.
And the first 3 questions, if I remember correctly, people were saying were okay. But the fourth one really, really brought up some things that could have caused some major issues. But we would have been able to address this, especially this specifically with, I think it was question number 3 in that referendum. So this is what the court is going to be dealing with. And it's going to be very interesting to see what comes out of this. But it sounds like you say, Stephen, we may really need to make this clear with something that sounds like English in the Constitution, and that would require a referendum. Right. Article 14 doesn't sound like English. I don't know what that is.
Right. So it's like that, and I can understand why somebody be like, well, what about this part here? This is straightforward. And then this other part is like,
right.
Okay, in this part of the Constitution, father means mother.
It's insane.
What?
It's crazy. Let's read 14 again, just so you.
That's the only part of it I understood.
14 or 6? Because 6 is pretty clear. 14.
No. 14. The only part of 14 I understood was for this part.
Yeah, that part. Father means mother. Right. Any reference in the chapter to the father of a person shall, in relation to any person born out of wedlock, other than a person legitimated before July 10th, be construed as a reference to the mother of that person. That whole thing needs to just go away. That's my view. But let's see what you say about this. And let's take this call, and then we need to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and Stephen. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Okay. Stephen, you there? How you doing?
Yeah, he's there.
I'm here.
Okay.
I was starting the clock, you see.
Anyway, and good morning to the nation. Dwight, this government is clearly not about accountability, nor transparency. The person who tried to demonstrate as it relates to the Grand Lucayan special purpose vehicle that they're about transparency.
All right, wait, are you talking about this court case?
I'm speaking about all the matters that you were talking about this morning, Dwight, which is in the news, right? Mr. Scott, Michael Scott, was the only individual who demonstrated that he's prepared to abide in absence of the freedom of information with transparency and accountability. And look what happened to him. They removed him from the special purpose vehicle for Grand Lucayan because he was too transparent to the public, right? Secondly, this prime minister cannot hide behind the cloud that he was not the one denying the ability to answer questions, because he did not get up in parliament and state that he's prepared to answer questions directed to him when he has the full ability. Over the last 4 years, they've been running away and hiding from and using a previous ruling to not have the opposition day for questions in parliament. And so they are clearly not about being honest with the Bahamian people. When you look at what happened with NIB, right? That's a major concern. Two points on that, Dwight. The minister continues to tout about this $250 million spent, right? But when you look at the breakdown that your news, y'all cut the news report short, but y'all only accounted for $104 million of unemployment benefit, which is as a direct consequence of your NIB payments, right? And y'all accounted for $15.6 million of unemployment assistance, which the government pumped directly into NIB. All of this is the Bahamian taxpayer money, by the way, I might add. But that's only $120 million pretty much that's accounted for. Dwight, we need y'all to please let the news clip play to tell us where the other $100 million went, okay? So that this minister could be exposed for being disingenuous.
No,
and then finally,
you know
Dwight,
exactly where it went. You know what it is.
Finally, Dwight, my last point, there is a major concern of what's going on in the cabinet of the Bahamas when you have the current minister who's responsible for immigration, who's a part of discussions going on in cabinet, which is then brought to parliament, right, for the discussions to take place and the bills or the laws to be passed, right? And you have the former minister, who is a senior former minister of immigration, who has to point out a major flaw in what the cabinet agreed to bring to the parliament. That speaks to competence, Dwight. It speaks to competence of the minister current.
No, it doesn't at all. It speaks to interpretation and people asking questions about for clarity, right? So I don't know what you're saying. Come on. He had a question, he had a concern, and he asked the question. And the Minister of National Insurance answered the question. He said, "Oh no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this." Right? So that happens all the time. I don't see it. We see that with the former Minister of Health. He will do those things as well. What are you saying? Although you probably say that shows the incompetence of the current Minister of Health, I guess. Okay. Anyway, we're going to get back on track with the court case matter after the break.
59 seconds. Minutes and 59 seconds.
Wow. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Nassau's my home, my native land. I want them people to understand. Smoking proud to be a Bahamian. I born there. Tell them that you born there. I born there. Tell them that you born there.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas. FM.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9, streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969, BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:21, it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a cold front now across the southeast Bahamas, along with a trailing trough near the northwest Bahamas. That's all going to spark some showers over portions of the islands through tonight. So, today, for the northwest Bahamas, we're looking at partly sunny, warm, and breezy conditions with a few passing showers, becoming partly cloudy and cool with stray showers tonight. There's a slight risk of waterspout activity near the frontal boundary, and beachgoers in the northwest Bahamas should exercise caution along north and east coast beaches for the risk of rip currents. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, variably cloudy and warm with widely scattered showers and a slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm, mainly near that frontal boundary, through tonight. Temperature-wise, right now, 73 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. Look for highs getting up to 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook for the weekend, that front is going to stall and gradually lift northward into Saturday when a low-pressure system moving east of central Florida towards Bermuda will drag a stronger, reinforcing cold front across the Bahamas throughout the weekend through Sunday. Cool and chilly temperatures expected after that moves through, and we're looking at marine conditions with strong to near gale force winds behind that front, resulting in hazardous marine conditions. So for tomorrow, Saturday, that will mean partly cloudy to cloudy conditions, breezy, and passing showers in the northwest and central Bahamas, increasing showers and isolated thunderstorms by Saturday afternoon. Partly sunny and warm with a stray shower or two possible in the southeast Bahamas. For Sunday, variably cloudy, cool to chilly, and windy with widely scattered showers and the chance of an isolated thunderstorm mainly near the front. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. And 8:23, it is time for your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Here's what's happening in real-time traffic. We're seeing some heavy traffic in many hotspots this morning. So, as usual, Smile Butler Highway, heavy traffic from well south of Fire Trail in the northbound lanes, heading towards Tawny Williams-Darling Highway. Gladstone Road also busy, northbound, heading towards JFK Drive. Blue Hill Road also from south of Carmichael Road, northbound to Independence Drive. You'll be seeing heavy traffic as you get over that hill just north of Soldier Road. Eastern Road, westbound, also busy this morning, as is Bernard Road, mainly westbound. And that intersection has been challenging for the past few days. Soldier, Bernard, Wolf, and Village Road, especially if you're heading northbound. Expect some delays there. Prince Charles Drive, as usual, the major intersections like Beatrice Avenue and Prince Charles and Soldier, and especially Robinson Road. Once you get past Soldier, heading towards Old Trail Road, you're going to be seeing heavy traffic there this morning. So a lot of traffic out there today. Keep that in mind. Get out earlier than you need to now, as we're back to the regular traffic patterns we had before March of last year. That's real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Stephen Hanna. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about energy efficiency, what you need to know to ensure that you are getting the lowest electricity bill possible, and more coming up in just a few minutes. But we want to just read the last of these messages coming in about what we've been discussing this morning, about the Court of Appeal hearing arguments on citizenship, especially as it relates to Article 6 of the Constitution, and whether when the Constitution says that anyone born here and either of their parents is a Bahamian, that means you are entitled to citizenship. You should be a citizen at birth. That has been interpreted in many ways, especially because of Article 14. But we were getting different views, and you think this would be simple, but it's not. And we're seeing that people are, as you mentioned earlier, Stephen, bringing up the moral issues as justification as to why it shouldn't be so simple with Article 6, and that we do need to imply that
are they suggesting that
you're very low?
Oh, am I? Because I didn't adjust anything at all.
Okay.
So it must be on your end.
Okay, go on.
But right, are people complaining and saying that because of the moral issues, it should remain the same? I don't understand what's happening.
All right, let's read this text here. This might clear it up. It's not that simple. So millions of people from all around the world can illegally come to the Bahamas and have a baby with a Bahamian, and they all get citizenship? That's foolishness. Our culture will be wiped out. They have to be in the country legally.
What culture?
What was that there? Is that our guest for the next segment? Chiming in there?
Because I almost said it, but I didn't say it because I was like, I won't say it.
Sir, would you like to be a part of this discussion, or are you going to? Yeah? He's not going to. Okay. He just wanted to say that.
But
Zoom.
My thing with that is like that person. See, okay, I have an issue with the fact that this always happens, right? Anytime you have a conversation about immigration or migration or into the Bahamas, the first thing people think is illegal immigrants, specifically Haitians, coming here to take over the country. That's all anybody thinks about. No one has ever heard this and say, boy, those Kittians from St. Kitts and Nevis, they could come and overrun us. No one has ever thought that. No one has ever said, oh, those darn Canadians, they're going to come here and have us all eating gravy on our fries. No one has ever thought that. The only thing that people think is illegal immigrants, and they could be Haitians. One, you and your personal prejudice need to take a step back and think about the fact that this is disenfranchising not only the people that you are irrationally prejudiced against, but also people that you aren't irrationally prejudiced against. Number two.
And also,
I can't save everybody, Dwight.
Including that number are their own sons who want to have relationships with their children.
They will literally stop talking to their child if their child have a child with a Haitian. Right? So there are people who have deep, entrenched self-hatred, and as a result, they need to put that onto something, and the something that they put it onto is the nationality or the ethnicity of Haitians. Right? We do not have enough time in this lifetime to talk an individual out of something that they need to work out with themselves and God. All I'm saying is, let me approach it from an angle that you perhaps could understand. There are people that you do not hate who are being affected by this, and they outnumber the people that you do hate. Now ask yourself if you are then willing to punish the many for the 4 people that you don't like. All right? And so the same thing, once again, this whole thing with they have to be legal. Everybody who is Haitian is not here illegally. All right? Did not come here illegally, are not staying here illegally. That's not true in any way, shape, or form. Everybody who speaks Creole is not here illegally. Did not come here illegally, are not staying here illegally, however you wish to phrase that sentence. We need to get past this very, 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 very limited scope that is like it's our vision is blocked by hatred and upsetness, probably for other reasons that have nothing to do with Haitians.
All right, let's read some messages and we get to the calls. The phone lines are lit up. We got to move quickly with this, though. Someone says, with an unwed mother, we all know who the mother is, but we cannot be sure who is the father. The children of unwed mothers to Bahamian men should only be classified as Bahamian after a paternity test. Okay, well, that's very simple.
Well, then do the paternity test.
Stop reading those.
Yeah, that's very simple, and nobody's saying that's not what we're going to do. So I don't know why you are wasting. Anyway, let's get to this call here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. What's happening there? What's going on? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, Dwight, I'd like to say something about this.
Oh, Anton, you called when we were talking about it, and you decided to go somewhere else. What's happening? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning. Hi. We can hear you.
Hello.
Hi. Yes. You're on the air.
I feel this is just my opinion. I feel whether any Bahamian that has a child, the child should automatically get citizen, whether the parent is married or not, because you even have Bahamians that go into the U.S. who go there and they have their children and their children are American. So that's just my opinion. Like whether the mother or father is married or not, once either or is Bahamian, the child should automatically have citizenship.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, though. Did you take part in the referendum a couple years back?
No.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
Why didn't you?
I have no idea. I just felt like nothing was going to change. You know?
Well.
But, all of this riff-raff and all of that, I just feel like if either or is, I just feel like the child should have citizenship. Once the either or.
Okay. All right. So if we do another referendum on this, are you going to take part in that one?
Yes, I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, I am going to.
Turn on your radio for us, please. Good morning.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You're in the show. What is happening? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Am I able to make a comment?
Go on, Anton. Go. Yeah, go on.
Thank you. Before I say that, Dwight,
No. Make your comment.
Has the government brought forth any initiative to upgrade the Constitution as it relates to matters of immigration over the last 4 years, Dwight?
They haven't.
Okay, and so clearly the government isn't intended on correcting the flaws or the oversights in the Immigration Act, nor as it relates to the Constitution. And so we have the government to blame over the last 4 years because they have not brought forth one referendum. Not one referendum. I mean, not even just dealing with immigration.
But Anton, you know exactly why, because of what happens when we do that, right? Are you being fair here? Do you blame the government when you get the wrong order at the fast food restaurant in the drive-thru? Is it everything? Everything is that? My God, what's happening? Okay. I don't think we can do any more today on this. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about energy efficiency. That should be fun. Yes, it will be fun, right? Stay with us.
Come on! Woo!
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best.
Believe in best.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
So I was looking for a shipment company who bring in items on time, who don't charge all your pension savings, who got good customer service, and who does deliver. And someone said try Airborne Freight and Cargo Services. So I called the number a man answered. I asked the man if he have the testicular head to make sure my items come in safe. The phone gone quiet for 2 seconds, but he say,
Mom, I'm one of the titular heads, but I can guarantee that your packages will arrive safely and on time.
Long story short, I get my teens and I'm a happy customer. I like Airborne Freight and Cargo Services. It's the smartness for me.
Airborne Freight and Cargo Services. Call them at 377-4050.
Why Alive? Do it your way with Alive Prepaid. Choose our daily Freedom 4 plan or our 7-day Freedom 6, Freedom 12, or Freedom 35 plan with so many ways to purchase. Use your My Alive app, bealive.com, dial 611, or visit any of our Alive locations, kiosks, or Alive vans. Alive. Believe in best.
Believe in best.
Don't let your children get left behind. Get them immunized. They need immunizations to protect them from some diseases, to get into school, and to apply for some jobs. Contact your nearest clinic or healthcare provider to make an immunization appointment today. Protect their health and their future. Remember, immunizations are free at all government healthcare facilities. Prevent disease. Immunize, please.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
All right, all party masses. Hope you've been taking your vitamins, cause you're gonna need it. See everybody waving, see people misbehaving tonight. Are ready for some action, be whining to the beat. I be causing a commotion when I feel the soca heat. Now you hear me saying it, it's the DJ playing it. I want nobody getting in my way. So if you come to bed, hope you come to sweat, cause in this place tonight we jumping with energy, plenty energy. So gather around when you hear the sound, cause in this place tonight we jamming with energy, plenty energy. Don't come if you're tired, don't come if you're weak, don't come if you're done, no. I'm letting you know, we jamming with energy, plenty energy, yes. I hope you've been doing your aerobics, you're gonna need it. I like it. Hear these speakers thumping like mighty people jumping tonight.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Stephen Hanna. You heard him chiming in on our previous discussion there, but he is the guest for this segment. He's the Director of Public Relations for BPL, Quincy Parker. Going to be joining us this morning as we talk about energy efficiency, especially the summer months approaching, what you need to keep in mind to get those bills or keep those bills low. Quincy Parker, you there? I think he's going to be back with us in a second there. So that's coming up. And as we said, BPO will be sticking around with us. I know a lot of you have a lot of concerns about BPL, and we're going to get into some of their big issues. That's coming from Morning Blend Business at 9 o'clock. We'll talk with
You're
Quincy.
going to get into issues?
That's coming up in Morning Blend Business at 9 o'clock, right? Where we get into that. About
I don't like the skepticism in Stephen's voice.
No, I won't be there, so don't worry. It won't be me. But
I'm never worried, man. Never scared.
All right, so that's coming up. But right now, energy efficiency. So, Quincy Parker, I mean, it's wonderful to hear BPL talking about this, but why now? Why focusing on energy efficiency, especially on the part of the customers?
Good morning, Mr. Strachan. Your very lengthy and wordy introductory questioning is cute, but not necessary.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, Mr. Stephen Hanna. You are the talk of the town, and I salute you in every possible way. Good morning, Bahamas. The Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited has been speaking about energy efficiency and energy conservation in different formats for the last 2 or 3 years. When I came aboard as director of public relations, one of the first campaigns that I launched was an energy conservation campaign called Energizing Sustainable Change. One of the reasons for our continued focus on energy efficiency and energy conservation is that in a country like the Bahamas, where the cost of energy can make or break a family or a business budget. One of the most important things that we can do is provide price stability and price predictability. So today is being celebrated as World Energy Efficiency Day around the world, and that's why we're focusing on it today. If you look in the Nassau Guardian and today's Tribune, our director of Grid Solutions and Support Services, Mr. Burlington Strawn, a brilliant engineer, has written a great op-ed talking about why and how with regards to energy efficiency. And I'd encourage everyone to read it. Mr. Strawn was also a guest on a local television program this morning. And so that's why today, particularly, we're focusing on energy efficiency. But as I say, it's been a part of our company focus for the last 2 years.
So how are we doing here compared to maybe some other jurisdictions? How is the Bahamas doing? And
you are asking question one, which is designed, well, not designed, but it's guaranteed to put the discussion in a context where we're not going to look good.
We as in a people or BPL?
The people, okay. Right. Comparatively speaking, the Caribbean is among the least energy efficient regions in the world, and the Bahamas. We don't have many. We don't have any studies that I am familiar with that would rank the Bahamas vis-a-vis our regional competition or our neighbors. So I would just have to say, as a bloc, we in the Caribbean we're not good.
All right, so what's accounting for that, though? Is it the types of appliances that we use, or is it our power companies that are using older technology, maybe not the most efficient?
It's a couple of things. It's firstly, the energy efficiency is first and foremost a state of mind. It is the willingness to think about being energy efficient that produces any kind of energy efficient action or energy efficient policy. And so part of the challenge is that we don't think about energy efficiency in the region, and certainly in the Bahamas. Consider this, right? Your light bulbs, lighting counts for about 12% of your household expenditure. And if you are spending, so let's call that $12 out of 100, and that's using light bulbs that most people use now. If you switch all your lighting out for energy efficient lighting, you can cut down from $12 out of $100 significantly down to, in some cases, depending on what particular kinds of bulbs you buy, you can cut that down by half or more to $6 out of 100, right? To be clear, that's the kind of saving that you can do, but you have to first of all be thinking, how am I going to be more energy efficient? And that's a part of our challenge in the region is we don't, how does one say? We are not, energy efficiency is not a priority.
But
energy provision and energy supply, a priority.
But I mean, does the cost factor not play a major role in this? Most of the energy efficient appliances, these same bulbs that you talk about, are significantly more than some of the traditional bulbs. Is that not what's causing this to not be at the forefront of most people's minds?
Well, that's part of it. And what I'm saying is that we don't have access to. I don't want to. What I'm trying to avoid, Dwight, is putting the conversation purely in the realm of machines, because it's not just about energy efficient machines. It's not about higher SEER rated air conditioning units or Energy Star washing machines and all of these different things. It's not even about energy efficient generation at the power station. It's first and foremost about recognizing as a firstly an individual, secondly as a family, thirdly as a community, and lastly perhaps as a government, that energy efficiency is a requisite in this day and age in order to save money and in order to use your machines in a more sustainable way. Once we've crossed the mental hurdle and once we think about it, then all of those other considerations come into play. And yes, then it becomes a question of the fact that in the Caribbean, it's difficult to get access just purely because of the cost to high efficiency generating units. That's why at BPL we were so excited about being able to do a deal with Wärtsilä to get those engines at a sensible, what was for us a sensible price, a price that we could afford. The increased efficiency from the use of those machines has assisted in helping us bring down power bills. And there is a trade-off, because people always want to yell and scream about yell and scream is impolite. I apologize. People always have comments about the manner in which we are conducting this turnaround or this righting of the ship at BPL. Everyone believes that their solution is a better solution, and I'm not above saying that there may be better solutions out there if they are there. We are open to discussing them. But what I am saying is, because of the difficulty accessing the best, latest technology without some kind of assistance from a multilateral, which is in our region one of the last things you want to do, it's difficult to get really far on the energy efficiency scale.
All right, so it's a mindset shift from all of us, essentially.
Yes.
All right, so you all have come up with a list of things that we can do right now to make our homes more efficient. And how much, if we do these things, we're going to go through the list, but how much of a savings are you talking about, and how much more efficient are we talking about?
So that's the danger of this conversation, right? Is that people may want to go away with the impression that if I do this, I will get that. And I need to prepare the ground before I answer you.
Okay.
And you'll understand why. The way we've gone to a paperless billing situation. When you get your bill from BPL, you'll get a PDF of your bill. And when you look at the PDF of your bill, on the left-hand side of the PDF, there is a little chart that shows your consumption. And before looking to see whether or not we have gone up on the rates, which, for the record, we have not, and we don't intend to, look and see if you've gone up on your consumption. When your bill is down, before looking to see if we've gone down on the rates, look and see if you've gone down on your consumption. Because what we've done as a utility, since the rates are set, and we executed a hedging operation to bring the fuel cost down to 10.5 cents or thereabouts, and set it that way at that level until January of 2022, at which point it'll be reviewed again. That means the only other factor in your cost is consumption. And so helping to get your billing under control is almost first and foremost a consumption issue. So now to get back to your question about how much you could save for you by using energy efficiency practices. I'm not going to give you a dollar figure, because first of all, that'll be a lie, because it depends on each individual consumer. You appreciate that?
Sure.
Yeah. So heating and cooling account for about 50% of your bill. So let's call that $50 out of 100. If you switch from a lower SEER rated air conditioning unit to a higher SEER rated air conditioning unit, even though you may spend a little more on the higher SEER unit at the beginning, the increase in efficiency brings down your bill by a definable percentage. And then if you switch out your water heater for an energy efficient water heater, or you adopt energy efficiency practices around your water heater, like wrapping it in a blanket, like setting the temperature at at 120 degrees Fahrenheit rather than something else, then you are lowering the amount of energy required to use the electricity to accomplish the same task, which is inherently what energy efficiency is. Energy efficiency means you use less energy to produce the same output, which means that you're spending less money to get the same effect.
That's an actual thing, wrapping your water heater in a blanket? That will do something? Yeah?
Yeah, it's going. We have on our website www.bplco.com. We have some energy efficiency tips on there.
My question is, what about like the safety of that? Like, do you guys recommend like calling in a plumber or an electrician to make sure?
Firstly, yes. We always recommend starting any kind of any kind of electrical activity, we recommend beginning with an inspection by an electrician, just so that you know where you're starting from, and also so that you know what is safe. All the electricians are licensed by BPL, so once you get a licensed electrician in, that is that means whatever advice they give you should be compatible with what BPL would say.
Okay.
And so that is the starting place. So you want to increase your energy efficiency. You go have a conversation with or you get a licensed electrician in to do the work, and you have that conversation with them.
All right, let's get through some more of these tips here. You mentioned the bulbs, and I think a lot's been said about the LEDs. You would think that most people have moved over to that by now, but not quite yet.
It's a decision, as I say, that people have to make on an individual basis, and they have to make it once they've decided that they're going to pursue energy efficiency, because this bill is, as much as the bill has come down in some cases, it's still a challenge. I need to bring it down more. How can I do that? Well, you can adopt more energy efficiency practices. The next one for the Bahamas that I think is important is window treatment. Given that we're a high sunlight jurisdiction, if you replace your windows with energy efficient windows, or you can add awnings to southern facing windows so that they get more shade even though you get the light, then what you're trying to do ultimately is reduce the heat that comes into the residence so that you don't have to cool the residence electronically. And so that's why you will want to pay attention to your windows. Maybe even, if you can afford it, to change them out. But if not, have a landscape technician come along or go and see one of our energy partners to discuss other ways of treating your windows to address that particular challenge. Which again, you want to get less heat coming in so that you don't have to do as much to cool the place, because it's less hot inside. There's also the programmable thermostat, which most high SEER units come with a programmable thing, remote control, and the programmable thermostat is something that would have to be installed by a technician and then you'd be able to adjust it yourself. It's best that is installed when you're building, but in terms of retrofit, it shouldn't be that big a deal. Simple things. Now, this one is going to be, I'm going to say it, but you will have to tell me how it goes over, Dwight.
Okay.
Not necessarily a recommendation, but it is an option that you can take to wash your clothes in cold water if possible.
Right. I was just about to bring that one up. Yeah, I've been doing some reading on this, and it's some interesting stuff out there. But they're saying even the whites, if you can, but it's not going to fly well with a lot of people, I imagine. But definitely, apparently, you should always rinse in cold. Apparently, no matter what you want, always rinse in cold. That's going to save you.
Could rinse in hot?
Some
people do. Some people like that, but it's always recommended.
We are convinced that the heat is somehow enhancing the cleaning function.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure it does, but I mean, like rinsing.
Why are you sure it does?
Some people have mold and bacteria on their clothes. People just do different jobs.
No. Well, actually,
let's say if you work in the Ministry of Education, right? You come home, all type of mold and mildew and stuff in your clothes.
There is no science behind the assumption that washing or rinsing in hot water.
It'll melt it off.
No, actually, Steve, you should do some research. They're saying that if you rinse in cold, you might actually reduce the soap residue on the clothes and stuff like that.
No. I have no problem with rinsing in cold. I'm confused that people would rinse in hot because I feel like that will degrade the clothes quicker. Wouldn't that take away the color and stuff? Well,
that's why they'd like to do white in that. But there's benefits to rinsing in cold. All right, so that one, everyone got to wrap their mind around that one there. This is interesting, not peeking in your oven while you're cooking.
Now, this is the thing, right? Okay, so I, as you well know, Dwight, I am a brilliant cook. I might have been a chef in another life.
I don't recall you cooking anything for me, but okay.
He always brags about it, but he never brings it.
Right, that's right? I don't understand.
Number one, I do not brag. Number two,
but his quail dinners and his duck coffee.
You all over here, Siobhan and I talking. Does not mean that I'm bragging.
Our listeners don't know who we're talking about here, but anyway, but yes, you claim to be a good cook. But right, so peeking in. Mm-hmm.
Oh, stop. The point is that it is standard. It's standard procedure in professional kitchens, and once the oven is closed, it is not opened again until time to take the item out.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that is so is because every time you open an oven while it's baking or roasting, the temperature inside is going to drop.
Wow.
And what that will mean is that you will have to either wait longer for your food to reach the temperature you're trying to get it to, or you're going to bring the temperature back up by turning up the heat.
Mm-hmm.
And that uses more electricity as well. And so being again, this is more of a mental state of being than it is necessarily doing something different to your oven. It's just saying, I'm going to use this energy more efficiently, even though it's the same energy that I'd be using if I was being less efficient.
Right.
Do you see my point?
Yep, definitely. Okay, running out of time. This is interesting. Appliance placement. People just want to plug it into the Nair's outlet, but you got to think about that, you're saying.
Yes, because the hard part of feng shui, so to speak, with regard to this, is that if you have a thermostat, well, presuming that you have air conditioning in your house, what you're trying to do is avoid that thermostat registering heat and therefore kicking in the air conditioner unnecessarily. And appliances that give off heat, like lamps or televisions, which are the examples that we give in our little list for you, they give off heat. And if you put those close to a thermostat, what that's going to do is unnecessarily kick in your air conditioning, even if you're not necessarily, you don't need it. But because the thermostat registers the heat from the appliance, the air conditioner is kicked off.
Yeah, that's great stuff there, Quincy Parker. And you can get more information. You say more of these tips on your website. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Once again, give us that website.
www.bplco.com.
Okay, great stuff. And somebody's asking if you have a tip line maybe to give for more information if people have questions.
The best I could say is we started our call center, that's funny. Our call center is Call BPL.
Mm-hmm.
ALL BPL.
Okay.
That's 225-5275. And if you call them and ask them about energy efficiency, they will have some tips for you, or they can transfer you to our environmental department, and they'll be able to help you out there as well.
All right, great. You're going to be sticking around as we continue the discussion with BPL about many of the other issues going on. That's coming up, and the chairman's going to join us as well. Stephen Hanna, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I'll talk with you next week. All right. And again, Morning Blend Business coming up after the news. Stay with us.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Imagine, that's where every advancement begins, with an idea that things can be different, better, now. Imagine a world where your entertainment experience was all about you, your style, your show, at your budget. At Rev, that's what we've imagined. To join the conversation and learn more about the future of Rev TV, visit us at rev.bs/imagine.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Friday, March 5th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. This morning, we are going to be talking about electricity, BPL. We've got the chairman, Donovan Moxey, and Public Relations Director Quincy Parker. They are our guests this morning. We've got a lot to talk to them about. That's coming up. But first, it's time for your Morning Blend Business Report brought to you by CFAL. In your morning business report, Bahamar reopened its SLS and Rosewood resorts with high hopes for an uptick in guest bookings heading into the spring break and Easter holiday seasons. The reopening of the two properties yesterday coming as the long-awaited revival of the tourism industry slowly picks up, though bookings have been slow for Bahamar since it reopened the Grand Hyatt in December. Vice President of SLS Bahamar, Axel Gasser, saying there has been an increase in demand in recent weeks, which he expects will pick up during the spring months. Speaking to the reopening of the two world-renowned properties, Bahamar President Graham Davis saying that they are thrilled to welcome back SLS and Rosewood to complete the reopening of their resort. The government is hoping to have a 24-hour turnaround for the time it takes to obtain a new business license and to renew existing business license by the end of this year. According to the Prime Minister's Delivery Unit report tabled earlier this week in the House of Assembly, in 2019, the turnaround time to obtain a new business license was 29 days, and the turnaround time to renew was 52 days. Last year, the government successfully reduced that turnaround time from 28 and 32 days, respectively, to now 6 days. The improvement in time to complete the government process is also seen in the time taken to obtain construction permits, which dropped from 71 days in 2019 to 55 days last year. The government has set a target for the turnaround in obtaining construction permits to 30 days by the end of the year. That report also states that the government has already negotiated a contract with the vendor for an electronic plan processing system, which will further expedite the processing time for construction permits. But there was an improvement in business license and construction permits. The process, there was an increase in the amount of time taken to register a property, and that process increased, though, from 23 days in 2019 to 31 days last year. And the Water and Sewage Corporation sustaining a 30% hit to its collections between December 2019 and December 2020 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and Hurricane Dorian. That's according to the company's executive chairman, Adrian Gibson, calling the losses monumental when speaking during the mid-year budget debate in the House yesterday. He says money coming into water and sewage from customers paying bills shrank to $37.4 million from $53.6 million during the review period. The corporation, he says, carried out no disconnections during the pandemic, even as accounts in arrears continued to build up. Overseas, caution about the pandemic taking the upper hand at a meeting of the OPEC oil cartel and allied countries as they left most of their production cuts in place amid worry that coronavirus restrictions could still undermine recovering demand for crude. Many analysts had expected a small production increase as the price of oil has risen 30% since the start of the year on hopes that the pandemic will ease, allowing for an economic rebound that should increase energy consumption. Instead, the group of oil producers opted for caution, and their decision in favor of supply restraint quickly sent crude oil prices even higher. The U.S. contract, which had plunged below zero last year as the pandemic restrictions on business devastated demand for energy, jumped about 5% on the day to over $64 a barrel. OPEC countries led by Saudi Arabia joined with other countries, including Russia, to reach the deal in an online meeting on Thursday. And German factory orders rising more strongly than expected in January, a promising sign of strength in Europe's largest economy. The Federal Statistical Office reporting today that industrial orders rose 1.4% in January over the previous month when adjusted for seasonal and calendar variations, double what economists had been predicting. A 2.6% drop in domestic orders was more than offset by a 4.2% increase in foreign orders. Germany's economy has been doing better than several others in the 19-country Eurozone, as it was supported by manufacturing, which has taken less of a hit than services during the pandemic. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Thursday, your market movers, APD Limited moving 215 shares, closing unchanged at 32.12. Bahamas First Holdings moving 3,000 up 25 cents to 285. Bahamas Property Fund moving 350, closing unchanged at $6. Cable Bahamas moving 2,212 up 28 cents to 356. Commonwealth Bank moving 1,975 down 14 cents to 284. Consolidated Water down 1 cent to 267, and Emira Incorporated down 3 cents to 10.10. The BISX All Share Index closing at 1,956.97, down 9.21. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report. Brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. You are listening to Morning Blend Business. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. When we come back, we're talking with BPL, getting an update on where things stand with the company. That's after this right here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Hear that? That's the sound of your money working for you. Because at CFAL, we know you work hard for your money, so we make sure your money works hard for you. In 20 years as a leading investment firm, we've helped thousands of Bahamians grow their wealth and build a more stable future. With savings plans, pensions, and wealth services to suit everyone, whoever you are, whatever you do, we have financial solutions that will work hard for you. Visit or call us today to put your money to work. CFAL, seize your future today.
Beulah gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
When you get your child immunized, you are protecting him or her from diseases and also creating a safer community. It took many years for the Bahamas to get rid of infections such as polio, mumps, and measles. Keeping up with your child's immunization schedule so that they are fully protected can keep these diseases from coming back. The COVID-19 pandemic should not stop your child from getting immunized. Even if your child missed an appointment, they should continue with follow-up visits to catch up with their immunizations. Contact your nearest clinic or healthcare provider for more information or to make an appointment. Remember, immunizations are free at all government healthcare facilities. Prevent disease. Immunize, please. This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
We are back at Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, and we are talking with Quincy Parker, the Director of Public Relations for BPL, and we're going to be joined shortly by BPL Chairman Dr. Donovan Moxey. But Quincy Parker, thank you for sticking around with us. All right, so we just had a discussion about energy efficiency, and it's been interesting. We've had an interesting week of conversations here on Morning Blend Business. Yesterday, talking about the living wage, and when we talk, we've seen a trend here, a common thread with a lot of our discussions about the cost of doing business. And electricity comes up every time, whether it's why we don't have more manufacturing facilities, why businesses are struggling. Energy, energy, energy. What are we doing about that, at least so we can not have this be as much of a factor when it comes to businesses thriving in the country?
Well, the first step was to develop a strategic plan so that we are not acting in an ad hoc fashion or shooting from the hip in terms of trying to go about creating some kind of positive change in our operations here at BPL. So the board and the executive committee together worked and created a strategic plan that has been put into operation. We've had 1 year of operation against the strategic plan, and we've been able to demonstrate, as both the chairman and the CEO have been able to share as they spoke in public arenas over the last few months, that there have been significant and measurable positive changes. Once we had agreed on a strategic plan, then the next step was to begin implementation, and that took the form of building Station A, which is I don't know how else to say how important it is to have reliable, increasingly efficient, modern generation assets in our fleet, given what we experienced in the summer of 2019.
I think everybody knows. Yeah.
In the summer of 2019, the evidence was plain. We had 80% fewer feeder trips than in summer 2019. What that means is 80% fewer neighborhoods went out or experienced power outages. we've been able to demonstrate an increase in efficiency, an increase in reliability, vis-a-vis there are some standard metrics used by electricity utilities around the world, things like SAIDI and SAFE, and measuring our progress against those metrics, we have been able to demonstrate that we are moving in a positive and the right direction. So the next step after the implementation of Station A was the government collaborated with BPL, and we were able to get a new engine at the Blue Hills Power Station, TM 2500, which is a GE aero derivative turbine, which it's what that is it's actually jet engine technology that is put into a power generator, and it is a very efficient, very quick to start, which means that if we need to get it on the grid faster, then it'll get on the grid faster than the other machines at Blue Hill, which will reduce the time of an outage that we are experiencing. So we've been working hard to get generation put in decent shape.
Mm-hmm.
We have a incredible maintenance schedule that's happening now at the Blue Hills Power Station. We're rebuilding DA-12, which was one of those two engines destroyed in the fire in September of 2018. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember, yes. Mm-hmm.
They were the two biggest assets that BPL had at the time. And 11 is unfortunately irretrievable, but 12 can be repaired, and we're in the middle of rebuilding it right now. And it should be back on, we expect, sometime this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a tremendous thrust ongoing in generation. The next thing that we've been doing in T&D, that's transmission and distribution, is we've been working hard to shore up those places where we take the power from the station and transmit it into the neighborhoods. Call them substations, right? So I don't know if you know what transmission and distribution mean vis-a-vis electricity. So forgive me if this is elementary, but I
break it down as simply as possible. That's fine.
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what transmission is that's taking power over long distances. So that's your high overhead lines on the really high poles with the big wires that carry power from let's say from the Blue Hill Station all the way down to the end of Blue Hill Road until we reach the sea, right? And distribution is when you branch off of the main transmission line and go into the neighborhoods. So imagine it almost as if you're looking at a roadway where transmission is your highway and distribution is your off-ramp going into the neighborhood. Yes?
Yeah. Got it.
So one of the challenges that we've had in T&D is that sometimes the equipment that maintains the integrity of the transmission system needed to be addressed, and companies didn't have the money to do it. And sometimes it was a matter of not having the time because the focus was get these generators back on the grid.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the settling down of generation and the cooling down of some of that rage and the increase in revenue from increased usage, we were able to we are able to address ongoing projects in T&D in a more direct fashion. So we've got a new substation at Windsor Field, which feeds the Western Corridor and Coral Harbor. We got a new substation at we have a couple of new one at the point that is feeding Arawak Key and the Point, that new development down there. And so they're around the place. We are bumping up the ability of these substations to regulate and make sure that the transmission of power is consistent. And that way, when there is a fluctuation or a loss at the generation side, the transmission side doesn't immediately suffer any kind of catastrophic sort of failure. Right?
All right. So this was going to be my next question. I guess maybe you just answered it. So the issues that we see, and they've been once in a while, and in fact, as we went on the air this morning, some of the texters were saying that their power went off. Those are related to.
There is an outage out east.
There is an outage now still. So these issues are related to transmission and not generation. Is that what you're saying?
No,
or
we can't.
No.
Okay. No. Everybody has their fair share of what is the word to say? Causation.
Mm-hmm.
Causation is the best word. It's not. We can't say that it's all transmission and distribution because every power company in the world has outages from time to time, and so is a couple of different causes for power outages. This is one of the frustrations, for instance, of being the public relations director for a power company is when the power goes out, the first cry is, "Oh, you're load shedding again." Well, no, we're not load shedding. Power outages are simply part of. I mean, you saw it this morning, and there's a major outage in Texas, and there's another one in New York and in some places. It's just part of the deal. So what we're trying to do is reduce the frequency of those outages. And that's why, that's what the generation focus is all about. And then secondly, reduce the length of time that the outages last. And I think that's mostly, in addition to generation, that's T&D work as well. And so we've worked and we've improved on that. And as long as we are able to continue on the track that we're on, I think we are headed in the right direction. And certainly once we get the influx of cash from the rate reduction bond, we'll be able to inject the tens of millions of dollars into the transmission grid that would allow us to make some real progress in that regard.
All right. So, you said I want to talk about that in a bit, but I have to ask you this, and as you know, you all have given me lots of flack about it, but we've been very harsh on BPL here on Morning Blend, and especially 2019, that year from hell. We thought that was the worst it could get, but we didn't know the pandemic was coming to anyway. But we have to admit that this is last year, and so far this year, even though the power is off for some people here in your province right now, things are nowhere near what they were in 2019. But a lot of people are saying, well, most of the population, the working population, weren't at work last year. So we have, and the major hotels were not functioning at full capacity or at all. We don't really know what would happen once everyone returns to work and all the hotels are functioning and everybody's using power the way they used to before 2019. Is it safe to say that you all don't know either? Even though you have new options and new generation and new plants, we don't know what things would look like if we were to return to pre-pandemic usage levels?
What I find funny is that the the numbers show that usage has gone up, not down.
You're talking about personal usage, as in consumers, residential consumers.
Consumers, it's consumer usage has gone up, not down.
Okay.
Obviously, because people are home.
Right. But a lot of commercial enterprises would not be using it anywhere near what they.
But yes, we accept that.
Mhm.
For what we were at great pains to say earlier in the year, as we were talking about preparing for the summer, was that even if all of the hotels were on at full capacity and on the grid, we still have N-2 generation capacity, which means that we have enough generation in place on the grid right now that both the big hotels and all the other hotels as well, and all the commercial enterprises that are usually on the grid, could be on the grid, full, whatever, and we still have excess generation capacity to be able to supply the power to our customers. And that is also a part of why the substations that were built and strengthened have been built and strengthened. The new one at Gladstone Road, the new one at Windsor Field. Those are important because they allow us to ensure that those corridors which deal with the hotels and the major commercial developments in Western and Southwestern New Providence are stable and able to be dealt with properly. So while the truth of the matter is that we don't know what might have happened because people are because they are not on the grid, the fact is we are as prepared as we could be for them to have been on the grid. And just as everyone who's on the grid now is experiencing a much better product from BPL than they did last year and the year before, we believe that with everybody on the grid, the change would be not noticeable.
And you are confident with the summer months approaching that this is going to hold true as well?
We are confident with the summer months approaching that this is going to hold true as well. So sorry, I had some kind of message on the telephone.
Yeah, that's a bad point to be distracted there.
Let me answer your question again.
Yes.
Not distracted by the telephone.
Right. Okay.
Sorry about that. So put your question again, please.
So with the summer coming, we know traditionally, historically, very difficult for BPL and for the consumers. Can we expect that what you're seeing, this promising turn of events so far, that's going to hold for the summer, fast approaching?
Yeah. That's so. Yes, I mentioned the maintenance underway at Blue Hills, right? So we've taken to calling it the Winter Action Program, Winter Action Plan, right? So the power station at Clifton Pier, plus DA 10 and 13, which is in Station B at Clifton Pier, plus all of the machines on the grid at Blue Hills give us sufficient power right now to handle the summer load. We are making sure, or we are attempting to make sure, that we have repaired and maintained and completed the deep maintenance of the other machines that are under let's call it on the block, they're being looked at and whatever, in time for the summer. We expect to have those machines back in circulation by May, which is when we consider the official, not official, but that's when we consider the beginning of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to have our full complement of machines ready by May to make sure, generation anyway, to make sure that we are as ready for the summer as we can be.
Yeah.
And the only thing that we can say is, aside from we're getting ready, is that we are confident in our team, our maintenance and engineering staff. Those guys are brilliant. They've been working miracles for these last couple of years. And Bahamians, I think, by and large, have not understood how hard they've worked and how well they've worked to keep the power going. And now that we've started to see some change in a positive direction, I think that they are going to be able to display the full range of their magnificence and make sure that this summer coming is a repeat of last summer, or that we do better.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned the bond issue. You want to talk about that, but we also, I think most people have noticed that their bills are down. Of course, you talked about consumption going up, but it is also the winter when things are a little bit different from how they are in the summer. So that's naturally how things go with the bills going down. But they're down even lower than they normally get.
Than you would expect, yeah, right. And so when you discount the fact that it's winter, the bills have gone down for two very definable and hopefully easy to understand reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, the fuel surcharge has been reduced by our hedging from, whereas I think in 2018 it was all the way up to 19 point something cents per kilowatt hour. It's now set at 10.5 cents per kilowatt hour. So the fuel surcharge is down. And since the basic rate doesn't change and hasn't changed, and we haven't indicated that we intend to change it, that the fact is you're paying less for the most expensive part of your bill, which is the fuel surcharge. And so the bill automatically comes down because the fuel surcharge is costing you less.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people, I mean, I've seen decreases somewhere in the range of, say, 12% up to 30%. And for some people, it's higher because they've also reduced their consumption.
Right.
And I have, there are a couple of people that I know who I don't think I should call their names, but their bills are for a house with children and family in it. Their bills are less than $100 a month. In one case it's $80, and in one case it's like $72 a month. For a multi-bedroom house with a wife and kids, or a husband and kids. And that's because, in addition to...
If I hadn't been hearing more and more of these stories, I would be saying that you're talking nonsense. But shockingly, I've been hearing a lot of these stories. I don't understand how these people live. I don't know what's going on.
No, but it's because, in addition to the lowering of the bills because of the hedging and the increased efficiency, energy costs less to produce because we are producing it more efficiently, which means automatically you're paying less for the energy cost. And then the fuel charge is also less because of the hedging.
Now, this is expected to all change, though, once this bond issue matter is resolved. Is that right?
Well, I'm sorry, what do you mean?
It's supposed to be, this was greatly debated about the additional amount that people would be seeing on their bill. Where do things stand with that? What's going to happen?
Oh, okay. So, but this is my point. So I'm glad you asked, right? So we're talking now about the fact that bills have come down in most cases by more than the 15% that we anticipate the national utility investment charge is going to be. So the goal continues to be to keep driving the price down, because we've already passed the threshold where the addition of the Newark is such a, Buick, the addition of the Newark is not going to be noticeable in terms of the cost of, or the amount of your bill, especially as a comparative thing, right? So last year your bill was $100. This year, because of the fuel, because of the actions that we've taken, not just the hedging, your bill is $70. Next year, because we've added $15 to your bill, and I'm using dollars instead of percentages. So I'm not saying the fuel surcharge, the Newark is going to be $15. Please, let's be clear. But then the next year your bill is $85. So your bill is still below the $100 that it was 2 years ago, even with the change and the addition of the Newark.
So you're hoping it'll basically cancel itself out, even itself out.
Yeah, it'll cancel. That's which is what that was the premise on which it was sold in the very first place.
Right. All right, we're going to take a break.
We have demonstrated, I need to say it, we have demonstrated the first part of the premise very clearly. We brought the bill down.
Right. And when do you expect this will finally go into effect? What is happening with the bond?
The action of going out for the bond was obviously affected by the closure, cessation of market activity due to COVID-19. We are back in the process of closing our own actions out now to be able to go out for the bond, and this is why I want the chairman to speak to that directly. We are what I'm comfortable saying as the director of PR is that we are moving again to go out for the bond, and we expect to go out successfully sometime within the next few months. That's as narrow as I'd like to go.
Okay. We're going to take a break. We're going to see if we can connect with the chairman and pick up the conversation. We have a lot more to talk about and not much time, but this is Morning Blend Business. We're talking about BPL here today.
I would also like to congratulate you for your Morning Blend Business music. It is most impressive.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate that, Quincy Parker. Stay with us. We'll be back with more after these messages.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you will also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day, boy.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave boy one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet his boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junking.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you, and your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know who you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
For the past 33 years, Great Commission Ministries has been defending the poor and hurting, feeding the hungry, and sheltering the homeless. We invite you to support our Live to Give program and make a difference in these challenging times. Become a donor by giving a one-time annual gift or a monthly donation of $50 or $100. Call Great Commission Ministries at 325-5801 for more details, or visit our headquarters at 237 Wolf Road. Join Live to Give today. This public service announcement is proudly sponsored by this radio station.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
And we've got your final look at weather for today. We've got a cold front across the southeast Bahamas, along with a trailing trough near the northwest Bahamas. It's going to spark some showers over portions of the Bahamas through tonight. There's a slight chance of water spouts near the frontal boundary, and beachgoers in the north Bahamas should exercise caution along north and east coast beaches due to the risk of rip currents. For today, partly sunny, warm, and breezy with a few passing showers, becoming partly cloudy and cool with a stray shower tonight in the northwest Bahamas. For the central and southeast islands, variably cloudy, warm, with scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly near the frontal boundary through tonight. 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius, your highs today. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. Some changes are coming, though. That front is going to stall and gradually lift northward into Saturday when a low-pressure system moving east off the central Florida coast and towards Bermuda will drag a stronger, reinforcing cold front across the northwest Bahamas through Sunday, and we're expecting cool to chilly temperatures and strong to near gale force winds behind the front. That's also going to mean hazardous marine conditions. So for Saturday, tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with passing showers in the northwest and central Bahamas, with increasing showers and isolated thunderstorms by Saturday afternoon. Partly sunny and warm with a stray shower or two in the southeast Bahamas. Sunday, variably cloudy, cool to chilly and windy with widely scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms mainly near the front. We're going to see highs finally back down into the mid-70s, lows getting down into 60s. First time we've had that for a number of weeks now. That's what we're looking at for the next few days. That's your morning blend business weather check.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
We're back here with Morning Blend Business. Dwight Strachan speaking with the Director of Public Relations, Quincy Parker. We trying to connect with the chairman, but he's got another issue going on, if that's right, Quincy Parker. Yes? So it's...
Yes. My lovely chair is unfortunately stuck doing something else for me. And he had a hard stop at 10 anyway, because he's got a board call he's got to be on. So I'm still trying to get him to join us before he gets on his 10 o'clock call.
Okay.
But let's just say it ain't looking good.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if you can give us much information about what's happening with the Shell deal. What's happening with the that situation there?
What is this? I can only say what the chairman has said, which is that those discussions continue between BPL and Shell North America. I don't know that he would give any more information than that at this point anyway, given that the discussions are very near completion. It's complicated, very, very complicated.
Certainly seems so. We keep hearing those words mentioned, complex and complicated.
It's because it's more than one. It's more than one deal.
All right.
Right.
So if you could, in less than a minute, say what we will see, what we hope to achieve once this is complete, just so folks who might not be aware will know why this is taking so long. But what are we hoping will come out of this?
So initially, the intention. I'm sorry. Apologies. Trying to put out a fire on the telephone. Sorry. So no. Initially the goal of the Shell deal was for Shell to build 220 megawatts of power, and also to build an LNG regasification plant. And Shell would own it for 25 years and then turn it over to the Bahamas. That was the original deal. The circumstances changed after that memorandum of understanding was signed, and BPL decided, and we've beat this up a million times on Guardian Talk Radio. Generation could not wait, and we needed new generation, or we needed to do something about generation right away.
Right.
So we took the proceeds of a loan that was already done and some other capital investment cash and built Station A ourselves. The subsequent iteration, after a series of changes because of the length of time that the negotiations have taken, where we are now is that there will be a creation of a company called PowerCo, which will result in Shell having an ownership stake in Station A and Station D, which BPL is scheduled to build once we close the rate reduction bond. And then there will be a creation of something called Terminal Co, which will result in Shell having part ownership of the regasification facility that Shell is expected to build at Clifton Pier. The reason the Shell will have part ownership in these companies is because the other ownership portion will be offered to Bahamian people in the form of shares. And so there will be ownership opportunities for Bahamians in both PowerCo and Terminal Co, which will see great investment opportunity for Bahamians to own part of a resurgent power company that is going to be hopefully making money for a long time. And the length of the deal is 20 to 25 years, which is one of the reasons that the negotiations have taken so long, is because the BPL side for certain is determined to get the best deal possible and not just to sign off on something just to get a deal. Because once once a deal is signed, technically that's it. A contract is a contract, and you're locked into it for the terms of the contract. And so they don't want to sign off on something that is to the disadvantage of the Bahamian people.
All right, we are running out of time, so just want to rapid fire some of these questions out at you and see if we can get some very quick responses. Somebody's asking here, when will we see remittance for people who use solar and send power back to the grid?
Those people get money they get remittance already on their bill in the form of reduction in their fuel surcharge.
Why doesn't BPL accept liability for damages to consumers' electrical appliances? Well, I think you do sometimes, but it's a very difficult process to prove it. Is that right? And why is it so difficult?
It is difficult because I don't know that it is difficult. It just requires a process. So once people go through the process, then I think they will find that BPL is quite reasonable about damage to equipment. It is perceived as difficult because the process requires people to actually take proactive action. You have to have your equipment assessed by a licensed electrician. That electrician has to be able to say that the damage to your equipment was caused by something associated with BPL. And then you have to put in, once you've crossed those two hurdles, then you put in and we will investigate.
All right. This person says, how close are you to signing contracts with companies which put in bids to provide solar power to several of the family islands?
I know that those bids have been received, and I know that they are being considered. I am not certain the time frame for award of contracts, but we're very excited about that. That's those are solar generation for Inagua, Eleuthera, Inagua, South and Central, Eleuthera, and South and Central Andros.
Yeah.
We're excited about it.
And what's been the response from people? We talked about before in the show, coming forward to say that you are having financial challenges as a result of the pandemic. How many people are still on those programs? How many people did take the advice and came forward to negotiate with you all?
This one boggles my mind. We had about 800 people who came forward to take advantage of the break in the COVID program.
You were thinking it was going to be a higher number.
I really expected more people to take advantage of it.
And that continues now. People are still.
No, the program was only for 3 months.
Okay.
Wow. It was a deferral of your payments from April, June, and July, and then you had to start paying your bills again. In August.
Okay. Wow. Wish we had more time. Hopefully we'll get to talk with the chairman next time. But Quincy Parker, thank you so much. A lot of great information this morning about energy efficiency earlier on Morning Blend, and now giving us an idea of where things stand with BPL here on Morning Blend Business. Appreciate you very much. Thank you.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Dwight, and may God bless you and yours, and may God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
All right. That's it for Morning Blend Business. We're back on Monday morning at 9 a.m. after Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Aaron Green is up next on the clock. Stay tuned.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.